Well, I promised you guys a show, so a show I will give you. Hear that outside? He's saying tamales, tamales. The question is, do I want tamales? You be quiet, you dogs. No, we're here to talk about gold chains. Gold and copper gilded chains. Okay? Now, this is a decoration, but this is actual chain. It's a nice heavy duty chain that me and one of the kids plated with copper. You see, it's still got flakes coming off of it. Okay. That's pretty normal because this has a lot of moving parts. There's going to be a lot of vibration and rubbing together. So when you get your decoration finished, you might actually want to use some really high grit sandpaper on this and then spray it again with clear after you're done. Hang it for a while so it hardens up. Spray it again with clear, maybe dust it some more. And now what I'm doing is I'm going backwards and I'm doing a bit of touch up where you can see like some of the, I used a base white coat of enamel. I just dipped it straight into enamel, hung it out to dry. So it looked like one of those plastic white garden, those fake chains. So this is not a fake chain. This is just a regular, heavy duty chain that if you see very closely, some of the antiquing I did in black, I still got to go over that with bronze. So I'm going to go over this one link at a time, and I'm going to talk to you guys about other things. How's that sound? How's that grab you? So I'm going to go dust this off real fast, and then I'll show you how we get shit done, okay? So observe. This is nothing more than just a little whisk, a very light whisk brush, okay? And I'm going to take it out in the garage because this is very messy. So dusting it off. You want to hit it too with the end of the bristles. So brush it good. If you need to, use a high grade sandpaper like 1200 or something, or even like one of those Scotch Brite pads. It's like the red ones that I can't get in Mexico, but you can in the States. They use them on cars. After you sand them down to a point where it's really, 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 like really ready, just about. This is all you do. It's just a little, brush it off a little. So you don't have any flakes coming off in your paint. Any flakes. It's like dust, because that's what this is. This dust from the leftover copper that didn't get stuck to something. So as you can see, I got bits of black in there. And this mixture that I have here that I'm making, that I made, sorry, is just a touch of paint. Okay, then I mix regular brown, yellow, and some orange red. That's going to create that rusty copper look. It's more of a bronze look, okay? So bear with me. I'm going to put this where all of us can see it. We're just going to work a piece at a time. Trying to scare the dogs to death. Because they're scared of fucking noise. They don't like noise. Or they create too goddamn much noise. How about that? So I'm going to give you guys a real close-up view. Put you right on top of this thing. That way you could see in real time how transformative this paint and just a little bit of time. This was a stainless steel chain earlier. You all know that. Very beautiful, beautiful stainless steel chain straight from the hardware store. hopefully by the grace of God, we'll have no messy problems. Guys, this is very watery paint. It's a water-based paint. I watered it down even more. So this is really the consistency more like, okay, this type of paint, when you get it out of the bottle, basically it's like peanut butter. It's made for kids. So I got me a little bit of paper in case there's a mess. And all I'm going to do is go one by one and just start painting these chain links where any kind of white might have bled through. If there's stainless steel showing, if there's stainless steel showing and it's really blatant, I will probably put some more copper leaf on the chain. But right now, all I'm doing is touching up little bits of this, because this is like where they're going to take. Okay, this, by the way, is for the ass end of a private jet. This goes into the cargo hold of a private jet. So you guys know. This is not for anything other than a private jet. Whose private jet? The president? No. The guy that has a castle in Guanajuato? No, not for him either. Well, piece by piece, like I said, we're going to go over this chain. And all I'm going to do is touch it a little bit with this bronze paint that I made from brown paint, orange, red paint, because we want to go for that copper. And just touch it. Don't paint the whole damn thing. Okay, I know the tendency is there because there's so many fuck-ups, but just touch it where you see white or the steel color of your chain. By the way, doing plastic ones, very cool. It looks so real, looks so nice. And some people put them on like chains, like gold chains. You know, take pictures to be silly and shit. That's what they do. They take plastic gardening chains that are about this size, and they'll use the gold foil, and it'll look so amazing. When you use gold foil, you know what though? The gold is nice. Copper, however, has like a 22 karat gold look to it. So if you're a person who likes that, 24 karat, 22 karat gold, that Saudi Arabia, that orangey gold or rose gold even. I'm not calling it rose gold because that's not rose gold. Rose gold is different. But this is very rosy. You could compare it to rose gold. But this is definitely copper. I am not going to blow smoke up anyone's ass saying any of this stuff is copper. This is real process type of a chemical reaction that they use on a paper metallic substance that is then packaged as gold leaf, as silver leaf, or some other bullshit so that people buy it. So, but I'm the one to tell you right now that even like you could get real gold sheets, and they're going to cost you about 20 times what this fake shit that is like thinner than fuck, and it's more like it's thinner than aluminum foil for sure, thinner than that. So anyway, I think we have touched up all this. So I got XL Pros in the chat, and I'm talking tonight about why we human beings who are in or around or from or to or a part of the United States needs to be doing right now to prepare for an economic earthquake or some type of fucking uprising, or if the power goes out. I've been saying the power will probably be the first thing that's sabotaged. They are doing some logistical fucking fuckery in the US to have rules to eliminate farms and farmers, trucks that transport, all of life's luxuries, all of the big stores that you would think would never close are closing by the hundreds. Like hundreds and hundreds of stores closing all over US. It's not being talked about. Not being talked about. I don't blame the US government for not talking about it because it shows failure. But if, like I said, it didn't make any sense to me that if all these billionaires are the ones doing it, why would they do that to their own money? The reason is because it's called shorting the stock. And since you already own the stock and you know the outcome already, you know that you can sell the stock for short, meaning the value is going to go down. Then after the value has stabilized, you can buy that same stock again at a cheaper price after you have purchased them for a loss. You purchase them for the very cause of losing value. And that is precisely what Bud Light did. You guys did not know, Bud Light devaluated their own stock. Target devaluated their own stock. All these motherfuckers knew it. No one is saying a damn thing. It's insider trading. Knowing and preparing that your stock values are going to tank because of a political decision that you made to show the fucking world that you're woke and all that shit. Knowing damn well that the repercussions were going to be hellacious to deal with. American people don't want you fucking with their beer. I don't drink, and I know Americans that fucking do, and they were not too thrilled about that decision. And you know what? They deliberately destroyed the whole fucking brand. Did it on purpose. And it was so planned. It's like, how can you guys not fucking see this shit? You know? They use that poor guy to fucking, fucking show the fool in front of the world and then show how ridiculous everything is. It was a turning point, really. And that people are not going to fucking bow down to censorship. You're going to fucking cancel us because we're telling the truth. We're not going to fucking buy into people's illusion. If you want to pretend to be a man, then do that. Okay? We'll play along with you. Stay the fuck away from the kids. That's our fucking problem. You diddly with fucking kids. And you can't fucking hide that shit. Okay? You ain't fucking with you fucking with the wrong people. We're still alive, you fucks. And you say that we make it sound like they don't exist. What the fuck do you mean don't exist? Of course you exist. You're there, right there. Okay? Again, this is all weirdness talk, pretending talk, and shaming language that basically communists do when they're right about the fucking collapse. What are you doing? Don't you all see this? Look how beautiful that looks. Look at those chains. Look at that. That bronze and that gold together. Do you see that? Okay, you see that? Yeah, I did that shit with one of the kids from the camp. He has to help his mother every day, so he doesn't go to camp. So instead, I go over there and give him an art lesson, and he works out with weights that I gave him, so he's allowed to do anything because he was one of my first students. And well, now we know that he's not autistic. We know that kid is smart as shit. You give him instructions, he does it. He might be on the spectrum, but he's not like a can't pay attention person who can't pay attention and doesn't respond, and none of that. So he's a very good student in that regard. He's also going to normal school. So he goes to normal school, the whole damn day. Right now they're on vacation. but they go to school the whole damn day, or they go the whole evening until 8 o'clock at night, because now the schools are split up into two shifts, if you will. Oh, wait, whose that idea was. And so the kids are free to do whatever they want in the mornings, and then they go to school, or they're free to do whatever they want in the afternoons, but they got to go to school, you know, early, like the good old days, basically everywhere in the friggin' world. So I'm not seeing too many big white patches on my chains over here. I did not want to go too crazy on the coloring, because this is supposed to be an antiquing process. That's all I want this to do. I don't want this to look like a chain that I got from fucking Home Depot and spray painted it copper. Okay, I wanted this to be an antique chain that looks like it was dug up and fucking or buried in the desert or some shit. You know what I'm saying? I want this to look like Aladdin found this shit, you know, from the 40 Thieves. All right, you see that? And I'm going over some of the black. I spray painted spots of this black because it had too much of the white base showing through. So if you want this to look like an authentic, like really old chain, then you got to go through the steps of separating each and every one like this, going and touching the chain links, taking off anything that's fucking not right. Like this thing has a ball of shit on it. I don't know what the fuck that is. So I'm gonna take that off and I'm gonna give it a little brush over with the bronze. So I have a very old looking chain here that was literally purchased from a hardware store, you know, too many hours back. But I have lost quite a bit of the luster of copper in some spots. Hey, what's up, man? Thank you so much. Pay attention now, because we're not just talking about painting here, okay? If you did not know, that's just a cover story, because I'm getting throttled. And that means that you guys are not getting notifications. You don't know that I'm up, and partially to do with rules and shit I broke and whatever. However, I'm not suspended, as you can see. So that's a good thing. What's the second part? I just don't like this feeling of, you know, that the bottom could drop out at any moment in the United States. I don't like that, because I'm overseas, first of all, and I'm a pensioner. So my retirement is based on the fucking dollar. So if the dollar is dropping like, you know, really fast, you guys, it dropped from 25 to 20, then to 18, then it dropped to 16. So it is major losses. So like where you would have like $4 grand extra per month just to fuck off, that's gone. That was like my little fucking cool part about being in Mexico. It's so cheap to live. But when the economy changed like that, when Joe Biden and all that fuckery that he was doing with Saudi Arabia, and then those guys in Saudi were like, well, fuck you, we have our own money, we have our own goal, we don't need you anymore. And then, you know, they're not going to play the game no more with the United States, because the dollar is valueless. And they know that they have better options with the African nations, with Brazil, with India, all of these nations that produce all the products that are sold in the United States, that, which by the way, very, very, very little products of any kind are manufactured in the United States. I owned a factory in the United States. I was almost immediately bought out by a huge company who essentially closed the factory down and outsourced everything overseas. And so part of the purchase clause was I was in no place whatsoever to discuss any dealings or whatever, because I had risen to fame because of how I got established with the veterans community, And so when they took over, I basically went, bye-bye, see ya. And I took my check and on my way. But they had already had a whole lot of fucking problems prior to taking over. So I didn't get paid for a very fucking long time. This was a domino reaction, a domino effect had on everything else that I had my hands in, because basically I was supporting all these fucking people. And at this point, now I don't have no factory. Now I have no employees. And I just got a big order from a big company that's up and coming, which is now like as big as the fucking UFC. And the fuckery that went on behind the scenes during the purchase and sale, then with more fuckery from the landlord. I mean, it was just like, if you get money, prepare to be sued. And I'm like 10 fucking lawsuits in a year, because people all just want money. They attack and they want money. And it doesn't matter what the fuck it's for. Even had an ex-wife, that did not have faith that I was going to come to fruition. And you know what? I should send her a fucking sympathy card, because I succeeded. I succeeded at what I said I was going to go do. And then I think that infuriated her, because she was hell bent on sabotaging practically anything and everything that I said I was going to do. She would say, oh, that's a stupid idea. That's a waste of money. You know what's a waste of money? Having a fucking girlfriend. That's a waste of money. If you're financially vested into this fucking thing. It's true. You know how much money you could save not having a girlfriend? Dude, you are literally the fucking man down here. You don't have any huge bills to pay. It's cheap to live. You're picking the prettiest. Look. This is how you do it. They want to know, how do I meet girls in Mexico? What you do, and I'm going to tell you guys a secret. You should be paying attention. I hope you're paying attention. Hope you're taking notes. If you want to meet the prettiest girl in Mexico, and you want to like go out with her and stuff, and like maybe have something serious, you really just got to learn a little bit of Spanish, know when to shut up, and use your fucking brain, because that's. Somebody want to be on TV? You sound like it. Sounds like you want to be on TV. Candela, you want to be on TV? See, I know she's a showboat. Okay, I get it. I'm a showboat, so she's a showboat. All right, guys. So now take a good look at this chain, because now we bronzed it up. I missed a little spot there, but you see how I'm doing that? I'm just going through like this. Take your brush and just poke through using very, very little paint. You're just smudging this stuff. You're not actually painting anything. You're just smudging it and moving on to the next link, because you don't want any silver. Okay, and you're going to see, because the white is the base coat, that's primer. It's just white primer, enamel white primer. I don't know what the fuck that means, but it's really strong paint, really shiny paint. So you see how, look how shiny this gold is, first of all. Now look at this. This is just copper, and I've dulled it down because I don't want it to be blingity bling. Okay, it's not necessary. I want to cover up all the spots, and then I'm going to go back over this again with some transparent. So why don't you come with me and watch me get after this, okay? So hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. And I'll just jump out the Jaguar. Jumping out the Jaguar. Watch, guys. Watch what I do. And this is so simple. Look. Yeah. Look at this. Watch. Okay. There's 2 types of clear spray that you should or should not use. I always get glossy and I always get matte. You got to do, how's the chicken bus? This is part of the chicken bus right here, man. This right here, this goes along the wall inside the chicken bus. If you didn't see the video on that, I did a tutorial on gold leafing when I did this. Because remember, this was all just bare wood before. And I just put these pieces together. Hey, would you do me a favor, Candela? Can you do me a favor, Candela, and come downstairs and shut the fuck up? So get yourself some glossy clear or some matte clear, okay? So not everything, you don't want everything to be glossy, especially if you're doing pieces of furniture, you want it to be matte. So you just spray your protective layer with matte colored clear. Works like a charm. Sometimes clear is even primer. So you don't, sometimes you're doing like a raw wood job, you could just spray it down with clear primer. And then you dust a little bit with a sandpaper, you are gonna be shining, you know what I'm saying? So watch what I do. I just hung up the chain, okay? It's really fast drying paint. Candela, what are you doing? So watch. I'm out in the garage, and I'm gonna put this up. Watch. You want to get yourself a screwdriver like this, so you don't get your hands dirty. Okay? Watch. You're just going to get your clear, glossy clear. Go over this 4 times. Let it dry. Come back. Check it out. Look real closely. There's no dull spots. So don't be lazy. Look at every single link and make sure that every one of them is glossy on all sides. Okay? Make sure you got screwdrivers, you don't get your hands all fucked up. Watch this. I'm in my garage. And there we have it. All you gotta do is hang it up. Find a place, and then just hang it up. Let it sit. I don't think that's gonna work, so I'll turn around backwards. How about that? The master at work. That's hilarious. Thank you so much. Around, over, and through. There we go. Look at that. See that? Close up. You're clear. Put it away. Okay. Now, let's talk about doing a second layer and a third layer and a fourth layer, depending on the type of glue you have. If you're using a glue like is made for this kind of job, it's made for like art paper. I don't know what it's called in other countries. Here, it's called like poster glue or something like that. So it's a very, white glue type of shit, but it's not like Elmer's glue. It's more like a paste. So you would buy that, and there's actually, if you look up gold foil gilding glue, it's a very small bottle of white. They put alcohol in it to mix it up so that it's like wet. When you paste this stuff on, your board's all wet. That's one cool way of doing it. I'm not that way. What I do is I'll do a paint, or I'll do a clear, or I'll do some kind of like sticky job, so that whatever the hell sticks to this will stick and it'll stay. And all I got to do is go over it with the paper that comes with the damn thing, touch it like this, and then come back after it's dry and just use my brush and just work into the gold in the event that there's any loose gold or anything like that. And I'll just keep doing that until this is smooth, because now this is the finish. This is actually just like paint. So if you put it on, you're going to dust off the excess, and then you're going to go back over this with a clear paint, just like we did that chain just now. So as you can see, if you really want stuff to look amazing, you got to put in a little bit of concentrated effort and some creativity. So I'm going to go over the rest of the cool shit I'm doing tonight with you guys. And I'll show you the pieces. If you have not seen the parts of the chicken bust that I finished, I actually finished a few pieces, and I put those pictures on Instagram, and I put those on YouTube and on Facebook, so you could see the antique work that I did with. I was first of all, I thought it was French, this design of these tiles. Then I remembered that Spanish tiles were the more popular tiles during the building boom of the 1990s or the 2000s or whatever, the building boom and bust of 2008. And by then, people were buying and building big fucking mega mansions in Florida and Las Vegas. And anyway, they were doing this type of decorations at the time. And I was fortunate enough, you know, I was in the opera, I was singing, I was doing dancing, I was doing all this shit. And so acting, and I was able to do this for basically fucking years and as a hobby. But what I really enjoyed doing was working backstage with the stagehands, because the stagehands were carpenters, electricians, plumbers, all this stuff in one, painters. And they could make a small area look like a castle in a matter of minutes. And I was just stunned how they could piece this thing together, like basically how they build houses in the United States, using frame, you know, using 2x4s and using shitty paint and stuff like that. So it looks good from far, but it's far from good. So in the process of learning from the theater, the biggest opera houses in the fucking world, from some of the top designers of costumes, which is how I know. So I know how to decorate costumes and shit like that for these kids. But I also know the workings of the type of fabrics necessary to make fucking uniforms that don't catch your ass on fire. And so when I started doing pieces like this is when I was 12, 13, 14 years old, working in an antique shop, doing refurbishing of old antiques so this guy could auction them off for thousands of fucking dollars. Hold on a second. There is this thing, and it is called ebb and flow. And ebb and flow, in a few words, would be like things come and then things go. And I do not like loss. I don't like losing. I don't like being the last guy picked. I don't like any of that stuff. And yeah, it does take a psychological toll on men to not be picked, or to be picked last out of you know, feeling bad for the person. I don't feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for me. In no way do I feel bad for myself. In any way, I'm doing well for myself in love. I'm doing well for myself in connection with other people, and I am in therapy too. Okay, so there's all that, because if you're a first responder or if you are a military person, you must consider doing some therapeutic type of things on yourself, starting with working out at the gym. So when I went back to the gym, I had this arm was dislocated. I still have shit in my shoulder. I needed physical therapy and so on and so forth. But that is not going to stop me knowing that when I go to the gym in about a month's time, I'm going to feel a whole lot better. And this is going through a breakup. This is after losing, getting fucked over in a real estate deal where I paid into buying a piece of land. And so there's all these things that I could sit and make excuses for why I would feel a certain kind of way. when really I'm the only person that gives a fuck about me. So why am I going to worry about what other people think? At this moment, I got a plan for November, and that is I only have 8 beds here in this house. This house only has 8 beds that I reasonably can have people stay while we're doing the castle renovation. So if you're planning on coming, we're going to stay for an entire month in one town, and then we're going to start traveling around from town to town to town. So when we get to one town, we're going to make our presence known prior in advance to the firefighters, to the police, to everybody, so that nobody fucks with us. Because even the slightest bit of jealousy from one fire department or one police station is enough to get us roped off. I've had it happen several fucking times, even in a town I once lived in. And I'm not out here, having my lights on and running the fucking siren and, in emergency mode, hauling ass through town. None of that. I very seldom ever speed because I'm too cheap to buy gas. So I ride my electric bicycle because I like the way the air feels on my vagina when I'm riding my electric bicycle everywhere, every single day, and not paying for gas. But I am paying for electricity. The damn electricity bill went up. How about that? But what's strange too is that my water went crazy high too. It went double. But I I honestly believe that all of the things that we once thought were conspiracy theories turned out to be true. And that many of the things that people question whether or not were real were faked. All the assassinations, all the coups d'etats, every single time they've had some major conflict in another part of the world, they have managed to profiteer on the military industrial complex. And they want to keep that game going with Ukraine right now. That's why it's a proxy war, which is why, okay, we're not spending enough money. We need to get, do you know how much money US government spends every single day on electricity? It's enough to stack $100 bills as high as the Empire State Building. That is how much money that the US government uses per day in electricity. That is how much money you need to run the government of the United States. King Sigma says, how is the chicken bus coming along? If I had a few more bros here, we would lift it up and we would put it on. But it's just me. The captain can't lift more than 5 kilograms. My assistant is very short, so he needs to go up a little bit higher. Get a couple dudes from over here, carry the damn thing. I mean, it doesn't weigh anything. I can deadlift 200 kilograms easily, and my assistant can barely do that. So we can lift the front end up, walk with if necessary. But the ass end, I'd have to have somebody walk it in because I'm not going to drive the chassis. I'm not even fucking going to drive this thing until it's clean because it is so disgusting and so dirty that I'm almost embarrassed to have it on the street without having a beautiful paint job on it or something, even though it's just a shitty ass chassis. So I'm gonna order one of the kids to roller paint the chassis tomorrow with maybe some black primer or white primer. I could probably do white primer, but either way, it's got to get painted. So that means we got to scrub it dub, degrease it. We got to wash it real good. We got to let it dry in the sun. You know what I mean? Caked on, baked on. That thing's got to be just done. What's good is that when I wash it, I also see where all the water congregates. So if there's a way for me to know in advance, like where, if there is a leak, what the water would run to. So, but I do have a lot of questions in regards to like storage and what am I going to do in terms of like where am I going to put my spare tire, because I'm not putting it into that stupid fucking thing in the back. I'm going to put a water tank back there. Probably going to do like safari style on the roof. Put it on the roof rack off to the back, you know, at an angle like I'm a fucking super trucker or whatever going through the Baja 1000. So I do want to thank you guys for all of you listening to me tonight. And just to give you another look, hold on a second. Let's take a look at that copper chain one more time. Let's just take a look one more time because look, we got to inspect it. Okay, you see, I missed a spot, but this thing is dry. It's dry. It's ready to be a decoration on a private jet. What do you guys think about that? Private jet that flies to and from a private hacienda somewhere in Mexico. Some old dude who looks, he's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. He's got a young wife too. All you haters, you gotta ask her, hey, where's that old guy? Who's that girl? That was that his granddaughter? No, that's his wife. Because back in the day, up around these parts, there was a lot of ranchos and rural areas, and people got married early. People got married real early. So this guy in particular, his wife is 40-ish, something or other, and he is 70. And they said they met when about a number of years ago, and I'm like, you what? Well, anyway, guys, before we leave, I want to show you the pieces that are going into the chicken bus and how. This is a 3-watt hi-hat style light fixture that runs a little bit like mood lights, not clearly enough to read from, but I don't want to overdo how much light I have in there that's not dimmable. So I got 4 of those. Now look at these cool things. I showed these yesterday. That is just it's a little bitty tiny USB LED. Okay, these are genius. I'm going to stick those in anywhere I possibly can in terms of that. So here we go. We have another hi-hat. I bought 4 of those. So I got 4 of those. That's 4 hi-hats to go into the back of one van. And I got 4 of these little bad boys. These are going to be like, I'm going to make like sconces that go on the wall that are battery operated. That's my 3 remaining lights on the bronze lip on the roof. These are the 5-meter long LED lights. These are just the long versions, you know what I mean? The flat ones that you could write your name and shit. So I got 2 of those. Those 2 are going to help me on the roof after I replace the timber that's on the roof. Okay, so I have a free one of these. Doesn't have packaging. But you see that, how small that is? And that really lights up a lot. I also got another 10 meters of wire. Very heavier gauge wire. I didn't want to have anything that's too heavy because of resistance. So you can see, guys, I got that, but I also did get this really cool lamp that opens up. It's a desk lamp, and this is going to go real nice on the wall and maybe overhead. So you can see this is battery operated, and I'm going to turn it on so you can see just how lit up it'll get. And put this down. Oh, there's a switch on the back. Look, guys. But look. See that? But it also have this spot right here where you could put your phone. Isn't that amazing? Now this folds right up. Look at this. I could hang this on the wall if I wanted to. It has a little spoon hanger thingy right there. But I do want to tell you, you should have your switch
right there. That's where your charger is. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I gotta hand it to these Chinese, man. They sure can copy and paste some shit and make some stuff. Anyway, that's all I got for tonight. Today's episode of doing stuff with gold and silver and copper. I'm the professor, and I'm out.